How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. And you?
I'm I'm doing okay. It's been a strange day, couple
Uh-oh.
of days, but I'm doing okay.
But it is Friday, right? TGIF.
Yeah. It is Friday, and I'm I'm thankful that for some people that means the weekend.
Good. Well, I love your name. And I'm pronouncing it right, Leilani.
Yes, that is correct.
And is it Fryauff?
Yes, that is also correct.
50-50 chance to destroy it, but I did okay. That's
You
great.
did
Well, tell
excellent.
me a little bit about yourself. Are you back east, Maryland, Midwest? Where about are you?
So I am east in Maryland. I have two kids. I don't really describe myself as an entrepreneur, but I just opened a crystal shop. I'm studying to be a counselor. Um, so I will be working with populations that do need mental health help. And then I also am working on Reiki and crystal healing and developing those skills and learning more about my culture. I was raised overseas, and my parents are from two drastically different cultures. So a lot of times my culture didn't come up. So I'm learning now to be a healer and to deal with my voice hearing. I hear voices, see things that other people don't see, which just makes me a really intense personality for a lot of people.
I
Um,
think that's gifted, is what I would call it.
oh, thanks. I do appreciate that. It comes with its caveats. So
Well, great. Now, if you see me turning to go like this, I'm not ignoring. I've got a notepad right on a little table here, so I'm taking notes so I can help this old age brain of mine remember. But that's fantastic. So, well, let me tell you this. This is your hour. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to give encouragement. I'm here to give a little help. Sometimes I don't want it to be a big sales thing because it's not about that. That's not what I'm here to do. You can decide down the road if this is something I really like, that I really came away with. And that was helpful. That's great. But I just want to make sure my time with you is going to benefit you. What it's about is to help you get a few things in your head on paper and whatever. So go ahead, fire away. Is there any specifics right off the bat you'd like to ask me?
no, I really come into situations with an open mind and kind of it's probably too open. I never really have questions about things I don't know about.
Okay.
Um, Anything that I do have questions about, I tend to ask. I am very new to business, and I'm learning on the way from other people who have already, opened their own businesses. My husband is a uh, accountant, studying to be an accountant, and has run a business before. Um, he says a lot of good things. I don't listen. But I guess for me, I'm really trying to focus on the reasons why I opened a crystal shop. I have been on the mental health track for years, and the meds didn't work. The medication didn't work. We tried diligently for 7 years, and we tried before that for several years. So a total of 14 years, and
So you
just
started when you were 12, huh? Huh? Just
that's very sweet. That's very sweet.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, I go down two tracks. There's basically two tracks that I cover. Number one is the business acumen side of things. Your husband, having started, he'll know what I'm talking about when I talk about business acumen, dealing with the accounting, dealing with the taxes, dealing with marketing, dealing with a lot of the business detail type things. Some of it's fun, some of it's awful. That's the business acumen. And then I also deal with the success mentality, mindset acumen, because it takes both. You can have a great business plan and have some real talents there, but if your mindset's not quite where you need to be, you can self-sabotage and do a lot of things that way and slow things down and maybe even blow up in your face. I call them IEDs, impromptu emotional disruptions or distractions that take us off and we never get back on where we needed to be. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where the two tracks I deal with. And there's subjects from coming up with an idea, which you already have, all the way up to where you're ready to launch and do marketing and everything in between. So you can have a successful launch. But you've already started your business. How long ago did you open the crystal? Is that the little, all those different kind of colored stones that deal with certain emotion, all that kind of thing, if I
Yes,
understand it right?
yes.
And you started and opened up a shop. Is it in a mall, strip mall down the street? What kind of a place?
Home based, home based.
Home based. Okay, so it's home based. Online is where you're getting your
Oh, so
distraction, or people come to you.
sorry. So I opened my home based yesterday.
Okay.
Um, and uh, I opened my online shop almost 9 months ago. Almost a year, because we're in July now. So almost a year ago.
Okay. What's been the experience? What have you learned? What do you think is, as you were to do the health checkup of where you're at? What would you describe it?
Um, don't advertise. I think that is one of the things that I learned. I came into the business with one idea in mind, and Etsy said that I had to have 10 items. So I ended up creating 10 items and then became obsessed. And now I have a home-based shop. Um, but the advertising does bring leads and things, and I learned to just advertise the bigger stuff and then have people come in that way. But a lot of that advertising, I don't know how it works well enough to do anything with it. So
Sure.
I think the best happens when I simply don't advertise. I get more people who are looking specifically for my shop, and it happens more organically. I'm very spiritual, so I do a lot of prayer. That the people who need my help will specifically find me, or the people who need my product will specifically find my product. And then I pray as I wrap their items and send them on their way. Um, for my crystal shop, it's more, there's several things aligned. I spend a lot of money. So my husband, I want to relieve his stress. Now, because I'm a spiritual person, very
Hmm.
strange things happen around money. Currently, there's some, what do you call them? IEDs?
Yeah,
IEDs?
IEDs,
IEDs.
impromptu explosive distractions.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we've got a lot of those going on. So we have money issues, but they're not real. They're like, that's not the problem. That's not
Yeah,
the
but it's
real.
manifesting because of a deeper problem.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And so for me as a spiritualist, I'm like, okay, well, this is not really a problem. It's going to be fine. Like, obviously, you're not going to deal with it in the other way. So I'm just thankful it's like coming out the way that it is, but we're fine. It's going to be fine. For him, it's like massive amounts of stress, and for him it's just a lot more. So I was like, okay, well, I can open the shop. I'm in Montgomery County. I'm the only crystal shop here. I don't even have to advertise. I already have 4,000 people looking at a store that has been closed for the last month or so, or 2 months. So I'm just not, I really am trying to stick with the prayer, and I know things won't come in because I'm stubborn, because I'm sticking with that prayer. But I'm also like, I don't want explosive money. I just don't want to be shocked out of my pants. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy talking to people. I want to enjoy being with people. I didn't open the store for massive amounts of money. Yes, I have goals. I'd like to retire by 40. Um, and I have various ways of doing that. I'm creating classes, I'm teaching classes. I'm going to put a class on Udemy. I really don't want to have to do a lot for it. And then and then I have my job, which is coming. I'm going to graduate very soon. So I'm kind of, I've got my hands in various spaces. Thank you, Robert Sebastian. Um, so I'm learning and trying to figure it all out while things are IEDing. So, yeah.
okay, well, hey, you've been very open and very helpful. I have a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Uh, I want to get my head around a little bit more closely. You have a home-based shop. Is there a room or a place in your home or a garage section or a side thing that's
Yeah.
a brick and mortar type little store shop they come into and
Yeah.
look at your inventory and have the discussions and you sit down with them and talk about each stone and what it means? Is that kind of what you're talking about when you say a home-based shop?
So I can show you, and
You
in
bet.
fact, I just have to go hop downstairs, and I'm very proud of it because it took me some time to design and decorate. It's not perfect, but I'll work with it. Definitely just a beautiful. I'm very thankful for the space. My parents do a lot to take care of me and my husband and my children. Gentle Robert Sebastian. So we we've got a space here, and I don't know if you can see, but this is the space. This is the shop. So
Yeah. Yes.
it's um,
So
kind of
it's like a literal crystal shop
yeah.
space. Do they come through the back door or down through your house, or
Yeah.
how they just come through the front door and you take them down, or they come around back?
They would come around back.
Okay.
There's parking in the back.
Okay.
So they would
Okay.
come in through that door, and then they would see this.
Well, you should be proud of this.
I am
You've taken some big steps, Leilani. That's not an easy thing of mustering the courage to say, okay, leap and leap and keep going. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. So you've clipped away on quite a few of the beginning steps that I go through. I have a 12 sequential steps to starting and launching a business, and you've gone through several. I've got a sheet. I won't bore you, but I can certainly email this to you to give you a sense of it. But I'm going to show you. There's 12, and I break them down. How to come up with a good business, identify your target market, research your competition, define your unique value proposition. And you've got a lot of these in place, but the value proposition, I'm not sure you really got it tight. So it really produces, how do I want to call it? Um, you have a story to tell and you have different pieces, but if you can really tighten up that story of your value proposition, it's going to produce the real story you say in your advertising, in your handouts, or in your little literature, or in your little podcast, or in your post that you do. It really drives that because it's very clear what it is you're wanting to and the messaging you want to get. And you certainly can't, because there's quite a bit there. Because if the mix of the crystal service and products you have, along with your counseling that deals with mental health and spiritualism of a person to get what I call clear in their thinking, and another way I would also describe it as alignment. I believe in a three mind situation: conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the what I call the it's kind of like the water around the iceberg
Give me
is
one
the
moment. I'm so sorry.
vibrational.
My dad's calling me, so just give me
Okay,
1 second.
you bet, you bet.
Sorry.
No,
I was
this is
making
life.
lunch.
This is, you can't cut away the world. I mean, that's just okay. But
Yeah.
the third one is the vibrational mind, and that is out there in the universe, and the law of attraction is tracking things to your mind and then manifesting it in the physical. You're manifesting a lot of things of your dream right there in the physical world. Now the next steps and how to take along to where you can manage it, grow at your pace that you need, get the kind of clientele that you want. Hi there, young man. What's your name?
Can you say Robert Sebastian? He's very, very shy.
Robert. Well, Robert, nice to meet you. Pretty eyes. I only saw the eyes. Anyhow, so I talk about that and getting that tightened up. Your test your business idea, come up with a business budget, choose your legal structure, open your business account, a special account, the right kind of account, so you don't sabotage your banking, finance your business, craft your story. That's the important one. Build and develop your business website, if you have that, and then you don't have to have that, and then marketing your business and getting the clientele that you want. So we cover a lot of those things. And as you come up with hurdles and hit little roadblocks, that's where the other side, the mentality side, comes in. Ooh, is that a special quarter coin? It looked kind of goldish.
It came in the cash register that we bought from Facebook. It's
Awesome.
Chinese.
It's one of those little special treasures that he
Yes,
has.
yes, yes.
Well, good. I would say this then. It comes down to, you know, from what you've told me, there's some tightening needs to go on your shop, and there's some way to how to integrate the other coaching side, consulting side, and the spiritual helping with people with their mental health. I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic. You said you're almost ready to graduate. Is it from that area? The So you got a lot of those pieces coming together, and you're bringing a lot on while you've got some big goals.
Yeah.
That's really, and yet you're managing to manage the stress, and husband's not so much. Is what you said, and that's okay. You are a team, and I think that there's what I call the little steps within the step lesson, and getting those through so that once you have that done, you can set it aside. And too many of us go jump ahead and we don't finish the one thing, we get on that and we start to pile on ourselves, and we feel like we're not making any project progress of anything because we're so deluged with things. And that's because we needed to really quite list the tasks for the daily things to manifest our goals, but do it in a priority that makes sense, that when you get it done, check, wad it up, done, the next set, check, wad it up, done, the next set. Now you have to do some things along the way to maintain pride of living, all those kind of things. But doing it right, that's part of the things I'd be coaching on, is to looking at how to prioritize this to make this more manageable for you so that it doesn't derail what you're doing. It solidifies and anchors it all more so it's ready to take on the next step and ready to take on the next step and still service your clients. You're at a stage early on where you're at that you're really testing what you're selling. You're really testing people's response. You're really finding the objections. You're really finding the concerns or questions and the positives, making note of the positives so that you really start to hone in and say, I know exactly how to present this now. With these last 20 discussions, here's what I learned. That's the kind of thing that you're going to be going through. Then that'll take you on to the next side of things. And then at some point, you got to be really careful, the financial structure, the legal structure, so that it supports what may or may not happen. But if it does happen, you start to make some good income, how to step in and let the accountant, your husband, help and keep that steady going, and really focus on what Leilani's good at. A lot of the details can be handled by other basic part-time, minimal employee type thing, or just a little assistance that they are there to handle some of the detail side of things, so that you really focus on what you're really wanting to deliver, so that it's a positive referral-based type thinking client that goes by saying, I got to tell so-and-so about this. I got to tell, so your word of mouth and referral can really become a strong thing from there. Anyhow, I'm going on and on, but I am happy to answer any questions you have specifically, but I go through a whole thing on just make sure on your how to come up with a good business idea. You have done something very good though, Leilani. You have looked at yourself, what your passions, your interests are. You've identified, you're pretty clear as to who you are. You're a spiritual person. You have a sense of the value of human beings and the struggles that they have, and many of it that's here and what's going on, and how to manage that and get the right thinking. I use a tool that is very interesting. It's called the CTFAR Model, and it stands for circumstance, thoughts, feelings, parentheses, emotions, actions, and results. And the CTFAR stands for circumstance, which is nothing we can control. People think they want to control their husband or their wife or their teenager or their friend or their boss. You can't control another human being. So you have to look at what you're frustrated about and having these emotions or feelings that's so destructive. It's the thought. It's not the circumstance. It's the thoughts that they have about that circumstance that's producing those negative feelings, which produces behavior and actions that aren't that good, that ends up developing negative results to match the thoughts. So I go through that dealing with their business.
Counselor? Are you sure you're not a counselor? I think you just broke the code.
Well, it's a counselor, yes, in that business is not just business, as you know. It's here and it's a person, it's life happening, and it's dealing with my hours at work, but here's what's happening at home. Here's my kids. I got to run to school. All these things and these frustrations pile up. And if you can't manage the thoughts and have a tool to do it and how to become good at that, it's going to derail you. And that's why many people, such a great percentage of beginner entrepreneurs fail. They don't continue on with their business. And it's not been because they didn't have a good idea. Usually It's what I just went over with and talked with. The other side of thing I talk about is relationships. And this one deals with the third option. And that is when there's disconnect in a couple or a friend or whatever, or partner, that connection's not there. It's because this view is different, extremely different than this view. That's option one. Option two. Is there a third option? Yes. But I talk about a couple tools that help bring those two that kind of oversee on this third option. Is really finding the parts where we do agree, that becomes the third option. And then the outside, we just have to do it on our own. So I talk about that. I talk about setting the table, which is a tool. And the third one is the third option, discussion between the two, how to have that discussion without exploding and all that, have the right discussion to come up with those things that land in that third option. And now you got that connection again. So helping people in that regard is that mental side that I talk about, the acumen, to really help that the business can continue to, machine can go and go forward with their success. And when they get into a snag, we identify maybe what the cause is, or really where that snag is coming from, and I help them get untangled and get ongoing. And that's kind of what Living the Dream coaching is all about. Okay, so that's what I do. And these are just a few of the little tools that I make available, and then we discuss about it and help people do what they need to do. So it is business, but you know as well as I do, it is life too. Dealing with family, dealing with kids, and it is just dealing with it all.
Mhm.
And coaching is I'm 67, so I've been out there pounding the pavement for 45 years, dealing with a lot of folks and a lot of businesses, and learning this process of entrepreneurship. And I love it. It's been in the drive in me since I was 11. And so I know you say you're not really that much of a business, but in listening to you, and it's not the kind of dream you hear people say, but like you are a dreamer. You have dreams. You have there's a why and there's a vision. The why is to make, you kind of describe some of your why. You're a spiritualist person. You have a real affinity to mental health and helping people. And so that's part of that why. The vision is several goals that you put into a visual picture, kind of a movie of what it would be 5 years from now, what that perfect day includes. And it's all those goals. And then it's taking those and breaking them down to the steps so that they happen and that vision comes to life. And that's what this Living the Dream coaching is, this process to get it attracted clearly onto paper and doing the steps to make your dream come out. And you've been doing that. Leilani, you've been doing that. I don't know if you really identify it that way, but that's what's happening. And I would love to help you get specific things laid out. So you say, I know the next step. I know the next step. I know what I need to do. This is what's going to come if I don't do that step. That's kind of what I would help you. So anyhow, that's what it's about. I've talked enough. More thoughts, more questions do you have?
This is great. I really like what you're doing. I also really like that you offer this free opportunity. I also really like that you literally broke through something in my head too that I've been trying to figure out for, I don't know, for 4 years. With us, we learn about cognitive behavioral therapy. So basically, your brain controls your emotions, which controls your feelings. But the situational thing I have already known and I've already expressed to other people, like, I'm not mad at you or I'm not feeling this way, but I'm really upset about the situation. And that you've been working with that and have a paper for it is really exciting to see.
Yeah,
Um,
I did a what's called a good to know Monday tip. I do a little video every Monday and send it out to people. It's called Good to Know Monday Tip. One of them was the very thing called the laws of connection. And I go through those steps of connecting, how you get that done. And you have the two pads and how you keep silent. You want to validate, not be critical. That's not an easy thing to do. And I walk through those steps so that now they're equipped with the tool, and it takes a little practice, and couples don't have to implode and divorce and all those kind of things. They can get through it if they're willing to apply some tools and do it in a way that doesn't create heat, doesn't create the challenge and create worse disconnection. And it's
yeah,
a fun thing. It's a beautiful thing as they start to realize it's all right here. The distance you have to go is the 6 inches, and getting past those 6 inches and doing the distance of, okay, stepping in, hold yourself out here, be curious, be compassionate, and be confident. so you can talk about it and be on it, and then have the right thinking start to take place. And that's true of relationships, but that's also true of business. Being honest about, I have 5 podcasts on my site that are free, and I'll send you that link. And that first one is the first step to success. The first step to success is to get honest with yourself. And I do a whole video, an audio of that. What does it mean to get honest with yourself, to really have that first step towards where you want to go? And then I have a number 4 that's called going to the movies. And is your husband into sports at all? Does he like sports? Okay, well, I'm going to use a sports analogy, though. Football, in basketball, it's called instant replay, right? Because a big play happens and they want to see what happened, or somebody gets hurt and want to show you right there. That's that leg that just got broke. That's called instant replay. Well, I have a thing that's called instant pre-play. A lot of people worry, and all worrying is pre-playing in their mind what they don't want to have happen. Is that not right? They're worrying about something that could possibly happen, and yet 90% of the time it never does. It's negative. And I call that instant pre-playing, but I tell them, okay, stop the negative. How about pre-playing something you do want to have happen? Roger Bannister was raced at a time when I was, in 1954 when I was born. He broke the 4-minute mile. For years and years and years, well, no, 4-minute mile never been broken. Why? It was up here. So he did instant pre-playing over and over again, besides getting physically thin and all that extra and running miles and up the hills. He worked and seen himself breaking that mile, 4-minute mile, over and over and over again, pre-playing. And when he ran and he bust through it, what was so exciting is not just him, but within a year, 30 other people broke it because he set the path of mentality. They believe, well, he can do it, I can do it. The second year, over 300 broke it. And that's what instant pre-playing is about, is you pre-playing your success for your two real main focus, pre-playing it over and on how you see it happening, and then writing it down and doing the steps to do it. So those are just some of the things that I would have done videos on, and have the little tools, worksheets that you work through to get you where you needed to go and want to go, and doing it right so you don't have a lot of broken, dead bones on the path to failure. And we don't want that. We want your success to be. We don't want you to be in the statistics.
Yeah.
We want you to be in the statistics of the top 5% who do succeed. And you know why most of those 5% succeed? I know this will sound silly, and it almost sounds biased because I'm a business coach, but they succeed because they have a coach. That's when I said, don't, if you don't know what that main reason why they fail is because they don't get a coach and a mentor, that type of thing. Michael Jordan, he played basketball. He was one of the best, if not the best. But what's interesting about Michael, do you know that he went and started professional baseball? Do you remember that when he retired from basketball? He went to become a baseball player. Do you know the first thing he did? He hired himself a coach. Well, the multimillionaire successful athlete, first thing he does is get a coach on something he doesn't know all that much about. I think it told me to get a coach. It tells all of us to get a coach so that we can help. It's just nice to have somebody else have eyes on you and what you're doing and give you, oh, just come over here a little bit. Oh, yeah, stay that. That's kind of what it's about. So that's the kind of thing that I think if you, whether it's me or anybody, if you find something that really appeals to you even more, go with it. But get yourself that something that you can bounce off. You can be directed. You can be coached. You can break through. And it has to be constant. It can be however often you want, but do it because, and your husband's great. But he's been in business, so he knows some broken nose principles. That I think that's fantastic. You have that.
So he really actually, he could use a coach more than I could use the coach. A lot of the things that you're saying, I am doing naturally. I just do. But his, his experience, sometimes when you've had experiences, it's hard to let go of that experience. So his
Sure.
experience of failure, of success, all of that stuff, there's like a set mindset. And so I am wondering if, well,
Let me tell you how it works. If you got a membership, you can both use it because he'd have access to it. He'd have the login. He could get and watch everything you have. That's available if you wondered about that.
yeah, okay. Because I think my huge, I probably would never open. I've had this up for a month now, and I probably would never open because I can feel his doubt and energy, not wanting failure. But I'm a low risk person, so I really don't take high risk stuff. So
Sure.
this is, I don't have to pay for rent for my shop. I don't have to,
You're
it's
working smart. That's great.
going over a year. So it's not like I'm out of my means here. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
within, an ability.
Well, the thing that's interesting, whatever you have paid to get it set up and run it between 9 to 12 months, you've basically taken almost a 12-month course. And so whatever you put in, you bought it in course of hands-on proactive course. And I've learned a lot through that process. Better than any course on the side you could learn because you're right there in your home doing it. So I'm like I said, I'm proud of you for that. That's um, now you need to compare competitors, what ones that are really flying and doing well, really digging in and re-step back how they got done what they do, what are the kind of ads they use, what's their Facebook page like, what's their website like. Oh, that's why some of the things, that's part of their value proposition. I need to kind of not copycat, but take the principles
Yeah.
I'm seeing and apply them to my own. Success breeds success is what I'm saying. So anyhow, that's exciting. I know this, that it can consume you mentally when you want to do something. The passion stronger, that entrepreneurial spirit just drives, and that's fantastic. I love the fact that you know yourself enough that you put a little brakes on and you're not overboard and then taking a big whack in the head financially. That's fabulous, because that's what I would suggest. That's what I teach, is to get a lot of these things and testing. You've been testing for nearly a year now, and you're making some money. That's great, but you're testing it, and it's telling you a lot of things. You're taking good notes and helping to formulate. Okay, this has worked. This hasn't. That's important. That's so important. But yeah, there's a coach that Kathleen and I use. My wife is Kathleen. Her name's Jody Moore, and she has about a $2.5–3 million business online, no brick and mortar, and she does life coaching itself. But it's very good. And what's interesting is we both go in and use it. I watch it when I want to watch it. She watches it, and we watch a lot together and have a lot of talk about it together. It's really been connecting, really much so. Helped us. 45 years of marriage is a long time, but it's not been without a little bumps and roll, mainly because of me, but because of these tools, we've gotten past them. We're more in love today than we ever were, but it does take work, as you know, but right kind of work, mental work usually, and getting rid of the disconnecting experiences and replacing with things that connect. And so it is so fun. I'm excited to watch you over the next few years as you develop the mental consulting side of things and tying it to your spiritualistic tools. I know that there's going to be some modules or some books or some things that you'll equip them with instead of just hearing from you. That'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to learn about what you get done. That'll be fun.
Yes, I'm excited as I move forward. I'm excited to see, what you have, and how it all works. And
Okay.
I'm very excited to have the opportunity to speak to you today. So
Well,
that has been.
after this is done, I'm recording this, so I will do a little editing, get the beginning and the end off of it, and I'll send you the file that you'll be able to click on. It'll be on a YouTube link. You'll be able to watch it and listen. But in that email, I'll also send you my website address, URL, because on that homepage, there is a video that says, what's it like working with Coach B? There's the podcasts are free. There's content that coaching, you click on it, it lists, and I won't bore you with this. I can probably share. Let me just share one thing because I know we're running out, but I want to share something here. There we go. I am going to share this right here, and I'm going to share. I'm going to go right to here. Can you see this page now on your screen?
I can.
Can you see me each time I do that, what's happening? This is a
Yes.
page on one of the home pages called Coaching System, and it has the 12 lessons. And if you click on it here, it pops open and says what I cover in the lesson and what I
Okay.
cover in the lesson right here. So you get a sense of that. And over here, there's podcasts right here. The video journal one takes you, I'll just show you real quick. It'll take a second because it's loading. quite a bit, but it's connected to my YouTube channel, Living the Dream Coaching, Marty Braden, Living the Dream. And when I started my coaching business, it shows the experience, why I did, and I did a daily journal all the way up to 13 months worth that got me to where I'm at. And it's quite
Oh,
interesting. Boring, it's
wow.
not perfect. The first ones were way too long, but it talks about just like that. You can click on day 1 through 4 and then go to the actual journal itself right here. But I just wanted you to know that, so there's a lot there to do. And if you ever decide that you want to do something, this is that one here where you sign up for the Good to Know Monday tip, and you get those each Monday to watch and discard. But anyhow, this one is for those that come to the site, but I give an hour one for the ad that I did. But it says, I'm ready to take my first step. It's going to take you to a page, and I'll show you what that is so you can understand. And I don't want to take the whole time going through this, but I just want you to know it's on all these pages on my website. It shows the 12 sequential steps, and it shows the two things. It shows an annual and it shows a monthly. The monthly is $50 for the membership. And there's several ways of coaching to get free for that. We have twice a week coaching. We have that you can join and just listen, kind of just watch. And afterwards, if you didn't make it, it's going to be saved. You can watch it. You just go to the date and look, and I'll show you all that. And that gives you a membership. And this is, you can stop this at any time. It's not a year's thing you're locked into. It's monthly. And after your first month, if you find it wasn't the coaching experience you hoped, you just tell me, I give you your $50 back, I cancel everything, and there's nothing lost. And one thing is, for those who do sign up, I have what's called, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's right here. Croy Sather is a life coach of coaches. He's fantastic. And he did a series that really changed my life nearly 2 years ago called the Instant Manifestation Secrets. It's a series of audios that I purchased. It just changed everything. And he's given me, we have a relationship so that I would send this out to you, and you just type in, click to access it, and it catches your name and your email address, and you get them for free. They're $397 for the series. I got it for $17 to him. He was just doing a really quick thing. I happened to see it. And so I've been pestering him, and we worked out a deal where he lets my clients get it for $17 my cost, and I pay for it, but my clients who sign up that first month keep it. And if you were to cancel your order after the first month, you get to keep those audios. That's just part of it. And so there's lots of things. So you'll have that as an opportunity to decide and look. And so once you go through it, click there. And this year here is for those that say, yeah, I like what that says. I want to just pay for it and save money. Instead of paying $600, you pay $475. So you save some money. But I would never do that initially until you have some experience and know this is worth it. Okay, so that's,
Okay.
I'll send you the link to that you can look into it and decide what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to get out of that and stop sharing. There we go.
All right. So I do have to go
Yep.
right now, but what is that website?
I'm going to send you an email. It'll have all
Okay.
the
Okay.
links. So good.
All
And
right.
it'll have a link to this video. So you have a good weekend. Nice to
All
have
right.
met you. Thanks, Leilani. See you later.
Thank you. Have a
Bye-bye.
good one.